We were so broken. We were so messed up. We truly were on opposite ends of the house. I used to say I love to hate him.
It's just a slow process. You don't even notice that it's happening until one day you're standing at the dryer in the laundry room and you're mad about a pair of socks and you hate your wife for that. That's resentment.
Steve and Laine married after college, and Laine started her own ad agency. Steve went into the oil drilling business, but 40 of his first 42 wells turned up dry.
We had everything going against us. The price of oil was very low. Emotionally, we were given out. We had 3 kids under 3, 1 very sick. Relationship-wise, we were bankrupt.
Although Laine's business brought in income, Steve's went years without showing a profit. The Crafts worked 16-hour days. When they were together, they argued constantly.
Literally, we kept tallies. It was destroying the marriage. Keeping tallies on who's doing what will destroy your marriage.
My office was in my garage, which was also where I slept. I changed the locks on the door so she couldn't get in anymore. She said she loved to hate me. Anybody that loves to hate, I mean, that's the devil. And to me, she had become the devil.
Eventually, Steve's business was on the verge of bankruptcy.
The banks didn't want to give us our line of credit anymore. And it just, everything was done. It was done. And we'd done nothing but work really, really hard for 17 years with all of our might. I had accountants tell me 3 years in a row, file bankruptcy. You can't make enough money to fix this.
Just when it seemed as though things could not get any worse, they did.
My office burned. My father died. I was brought to my knees. My constant prayer was, God, give me guidance. Tell me what to work on. I can't fix it. Tell me what to do to fix it. And then my prayer became, slap me, God, because I can't hear you.
To avoid bankruptcy, Steve was planning to sell his business at a huge loss to pay off debts. But something told him to wait.
My plan was to sell the project for a cash and carry, $50,000 and 1% of the oil. God's plan was, slow down, teach your kids to pray, love your wife. Don't worry about how much you owe, how much you gotta make.
Meanwhile, Laine began attending a new church and had an encounter with Christ.
I never even heard the word grace until I was 37. So I never even walked in any kind of, forgiveness. And the key to life, I'm convinced, is to receive the love of Christ and then give it. And you can't receive his love unless you accept the grace that comes with it.
Although the Crafts were headed for divorce, Laine began meeting with a Christian counselor, and her heart began to soften.
I came to Steve and I said, listen, if we're going to start over again, if we're going to start this thing all over again, can we not start over with one another? Can we start again from scratch?
Steve began going to counseling with her. It took 18 months, but the Crafts finally had a breakthrough.
There was this unbelievable experience of grace for both of us. We were able to look at each other and say, please forgive me. Let's forget the 17 years of battling one another, keeping the score, not loving one another like we should.
The miracle happens in an instant. When you finally look in your wife's eyes and she looks back at you and you know it's time to do grace. You have to understand what grace is.
When Steve put God first in his life, miracles also began to occur in his business.
18 months later, same project. Initially, I sold it for $1.2 million, not $50,000, and about 7% of the residual oil, not 1%. Okay, so you see the difference between God's plan and my plan.
The Crafts later moved into their dream home near Jackson, Mississippi.
When we first moved in this house, it was a beautiful morning. The steam was coming up off the lake. I said, this is beautiful, God. What did I do to deserve this? What do you want me to do in return? He said, tell everybody who really did all this.
1 Peter 3:15 says, always be prepared to share the hope that lies within you. So that's our story. We are believers that the enemy, yes, is out there to seek, kill, and destroy marriages today. He knows if he can kill a marriage, then he's killed a lot of folks at one swoop.
Steve and Laine wrote a book together, Start Again from Scratch, And Laine started a magazine and ministry for women to help them overcome challenges in their lives and marriages. The Crafts give all the glory to God.
He did it for us. Our marriage was literally bankrupt. Our finances were bankrupt. But when we decided that we did not want to live a lie, that we knew that there had to be more to life than what we were getting, we fell to our knees. So the vital key ingredient to this recipe of reviving your marriage is you better run to God today and get to your knees, because that's where it starts, right there.